This is Tim Benz and Guy Junker, the Morning Sports Report on Triblive Radio, brought to you by Invisible Fence brand, creating happier homes where pets can safely play in the yard out of danger. To schedule a free in-home consultation, visit invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com. The fences were very real in Milwaukee last night, Guy Junker, and the ball kept flying off of them as Garrett Cole was pitching. Doesn't he know it's September? This is when he's supposed to shine.
Yeah, I mean, his performance has been vastly disappointing since the All-Star break. He had back-to-back good starts. I think there's a bit of a stunned attitude by him. He admitted after the game he's never been hit like this. I don't think he knows what's wrong. I mean, the velocity's still there. Not as much movement on his pitches. Did they make a mistake keeping him at his spot in the rotation this late in the season so that he could pitch against the Cardinals, or would he have benefited from a day off and keeping everything, maybe an extra day's rest might have helped him at this point? And that's hindsight. I didn't have a problem with it yesterday, so I'm not going to say I have a problem with it today. But it's very disappointing. This Brewers, the Pirates and the Rangers, Tim, are the only two teams that would be in the playoffs if they started today with losing records in their own division. I mean, this inability to beat these teams. It's one thing if it's the Cardinals, but their record against the Reds and the Brewers is embarrassing.
Yeah, it might cost them not only the division, but who knows down the line if they do poorly against the Cubs. You're right, exactly. Yeah. It could cost them the home playoff game. Now, about Cole, this would be, to me, a lot bigger of a deal, and it would definitely be something we'd be hammering for 3 straight hours. Forget even the Steelers and all their problems. If this didn't come after 2 good starts, what really woke me up and maybe scratched my head was I thought he made progress beyond what had ever bothered him for a couple starts prior to the last 2, but he looked like the Garrett Cole of old the last 2 starts.
Well, I don't think he was as bad as his numbers showed. I mean, the game's over at 4-0 in the first inning. That's what bothers me the most. The Cardinals were behind 4-0 last night, too. They rallied and won. The Pirates looked like those first 4 runs come in. This one's over. But, I mean, there weren't a lot of balls hit hard. Marte falls asleep, and I thought there was a air going out of the Sales moment when he allows a guy to go from first to third on a ball hit the left field. Pedro has his typical, I mean, it's not necessarily an easy play, but he could have prevented a run with a scoop. I think it was one of their ugliest games of the year, top to bottom, just the whole performance. So, and yet he still managed to gut it out and get some innings in there. But so I agree with you. If he hadn't had the last 2, and I don't think this one is it wasn't as good as the last 2, clearly, where he was in command. But I think his numbers could have been a little better had he had a little more support.
Yeah, and we all know about their penchant for winning series, even if they have a bad game along the way. So if they get this out of the way now,
or winning a homestand or winning a road trip, right. They've gotten off to some pretty lousy starts, even losing the first 2 and looking bad, and then come back and win 7 in a row.
The problem is you just know how big of a hurdle the Cardinals are coming up next, and with that being the case, you can't let games like this slide away before you get to them.
Yeah, when they're down to 31 games left or whatever, then they're not going to catch the Cardinals. You can forget it.
Tim Benz and Guy Junker, the Morning Sports Report on Triblive Radio, brought to you by Invisible Fence brand.